A family moved in hoping to escape a lingering grief, trading old ghosts for new surroundings. Apartment 313 seemed perfect, quiet, unassuming, its walls promising peace. But from the moment they entered, unease clung to them like desert dust. The silence was too heavy, as if the building held its breath, and though the leasing agent smiled politely, her eyes flicked toward the unit with something like regret. The mother, Elise, had grown thin from mourning, her sleep fractured by dreams of her lost daughter, Ava, whose absence had hollowed the family. The father, Mark, tried to stay strong, burying himself in work and routine, but the weight of silence pressed on him. Their son, Jamie, only 9, had stopped speaking after the funeral, his drawings growing darker, filled with symbols no one understood. At first, the signs were subtle. Elise waking in the hallway with sore feet and dust on her nightgown, unable to remember leaving bed. Mark noticing water trickling down the walls despite clear skies, the droplets cold and metallic. Jamie scribbling names and numbers he couldn't explain, his eyes distant, as if listening to something no one else could hear. Whispers leaked from the closet at night, static forming half-words that felt like they were meant for them, fragments of sentences distorted like broken radio signals. She's still watching. And don't forget. Elise began locking the closet, but the whispers persisted, seeping through vents and outlets. Behind peeling wallpaper, they found chalk markings, circles, arrows, and what looked like floor plans. Under loose floorboards, scratched warnings. She remembers, don't open the door, and time is wrong. Taped beneath a dresser, an old audio cassette hissed with sobbing children, murmuring doctors, and a trembling voice repeating, "You cannot leave what remembers you." The neighbors were distant, reluctant to speak, but one elderly woman finally whispered that the building had once been a facility, a place where children were experimented on, their memories broken and remade, their minds reshaped in the name of science. Room 313, she said, had been sealed for decades until recent renovations reopened it. Elise tried to dismiss the stories, but the disturbances worsened. Lights pulsed like heartbeats. Reflections lingered in mirrors long after they'd walked away. Vents sighed like breathing, and whispers began calling their names in Ava's voice. Jamie's drawings became frantic, hallways that twisted, doors that led to nowhere, and a pale girl with hollow eyes. Mark found Elise standing before the utility door, her hand pressed against it, whispering Ava's name. One night, Jamie vanished. No struggle, no trace, only his symbols covering the walls and a message carved into the plaster. She's still in 313. Desperation consumed Elise. She opened the door. Inside, time unraveled. The room flickered through decades, the air thick with overlapping moments, children laughing, doctors whispering, wallpaper bleeding words. She wandered through impossible hallways, glimpses of her son darting past, his voice echoing through vents. A pale girl pressed her hand to the wall, her eyes empty, her mouth moving in silent chant. Voices rose. We awaken them. Reality twisted. Elise saw herself reflected in a mirror that showed her older, her eyes vacant. She saw Ava, not as she remembered, but changed, her face flickering between joy and terror. The room pulsed, memories looping, fragments of lives stitched together. Mark tried to follow, but the door would not open. Elise understood too late. Room 313 was not haunted, but alive, a sentient memory, feeding on grief, pulling the living into its endless loop. It remembered everything, the experiments, the children, the pain, and once it knew you, it never let go. The walls whispered her name, the lights dimmed, and the door sealed behind her. Mark stood outside, listening to the silence, knowing she was gone. Jamie's drawings remained, etched into the walls, symbols that no longer made sense. The apartment was quiet again, but the silence was different, expectant. Room 313 waited. It remembered, and it was still hungry.